There's a moment in your bones when the fire takes over. Blood is running, heart is pumping as the battle gets closer. They can say what they want now, 'cause we'll be screaming out, we can be heroes everywhere we go. We can have all that we ever want. Swinging like Ali, rocking our bodies, standing on top like a champion. Keep your silver, give me that gold. You'll remember when I say we can be heroes everywhere we go. Keeping us down is impossible. We're unstoppable. Oh, we're unstoppable. We're unstoppable. We're unstoppable. We're unstoppable. We're unstoppable. We're unstoppable.
Sa tingin ko, kailangan naming i-improve sa team namin yung communication, synergy, pati shot calling namin kasi madalas hindi kami nagkakaintindihan as a team. And tingin ko rin, kailangan namin mas pagtuunan ng oras yung practice time, pati yung mga pag-research sa mga simpleng bagay about sa 5v5, team comms, drafting, mga ganun. Para naman sa next match namin sa Infuse, napapanood ko yung mga games nila. Ibang-iba na sila dun sa past games na nakalaban namin sila simula ng promotion. So, gagawin na lang namin tatry namin na ma-improve pa yung gameplay namin, yung game plan namin, pati yung drafting and team play para makabawi sa PGS.
Mga hapon sa mga summoners, ako po si Vulcan, kasama ko si Chisto. Ito po ang Bacchus Pro Gaming Series Spring. We are now moving on to the week 4. What can you say about the teams right now?
We're, of course, headed to week 4, like you mentioned. And ito yung unang araw ng patch 8.3. So, how will this affect the teams? Of course, kailangan nila mag-adapt. Bagong patch May mga few changes. And I think one of the significant changes which will affect both teams is the jungler change where Sejuani and Jarvan have been nerfed. And I think both of these teams play around their jungler's leadership. And I think both the junglers really need to adapt to the current meta.
Balikan mo natin yung week 3 ng BGS, Chisto. Ano nangyari dun sa week 3?
Of course, week 3 infused with their first match win over Naga Esports, if I recall correctly. And that was a very well-played series by Infused. It showed how much they've improved throughout the PGS. Whereas for BRE, unfortunately, they haven't been able to pick up a match win yet. They haven't secured that many points as they would have wanted. And now, looking at the standings, kung kayo yung BRE X-Rage Esports, gusto mong umabot sa playoffs. Of course, 6 teams will now make it into the playoffs. Isipin mo ganito, mathematically, if they pick up a 2-0 here, tabla na sila ng Naga, that's how high they will climb in the standings. But, that's a lot of work considering they're up against Infused, who have been performing very, very well recently.
And at this point in the PGS, we are again on our week 4. So 3 more weeks left before the PGS group stages will end. So at this point, for BRE X-Rage Esports and Infused, they need to step up. They need to try and show what they've got at this point. And I think, judging by the standings, this will actually be our first match. BRE X-Rage Esports versus Infused, followed by our next match. But now, on to BRE. What's the difference of them playing into this game compared to Infused? What's the mentality?
The mentality is definitely we need to start picking up wins. We need good points. We want to climb the standings. And one more big difference is they've actually subbed out their AD carry Liar, and now Arda is coming into play instead of him. So maybe this switch up will be the key that they need if they want to start racking up these wins.
And Arda was the player who actually played for BRE during the Build over Spineless journey. And now making it to the PGS, it was Liar playing majority of the game. So right now, this will be Arda's debut in the PGS as their AD carry. And now we're in a week 4. Can he change how BRE can perform? Can he be the ones to breathe in new life to BRE and make their comeback? Let's see. Here are the match-up rundown of the players. Again, BRE will be playing on the blue side against Infused on the red side.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see how Ardai will perform. Of course, PGS debut, that's some pressure on you, but also he needs to step up. Maybe he can be that positive change that BRE needs if they want to start making a playoff run, because if they drop out now, they're just out.
That's actually the difficulty of a PGS team who is actually new to the whole esports I mean, scene itself, because when you're talking about other teams, they have a lot of resources and a lot of, I would say, experience. Compare that to IPT or Minaski. Veterans and titans in the esports name. And for Infused esports side, great performance coming in from week 3 to 1-2ing Naga, changing how they flow. Finally, they understand their win condition, and now execution is important for Infused, and they're showing it right now for us.
Yeah, of course. Ang laki nga ng improvement na pinakita ng Infuse. Whereas for BRE, we haven't seen the same level of decisiveness, I should say. Like XDXB mentioned during his interview, they need to be more crisp with their shot calling, with their communication. And I do believe that they've been working hard, trying to get more in sync.
So let's hope for Infused esports. Right now is the time for them to actually step up and execute properly. And again, play to the win conditions. As the same for BRE, let's see, can Ardai breathe in new life to BRE? Can it change how the team can actually sync well?
Well, maybe it can, because looking at the challenger ladder here in the country, Liar is actually number 2 and Arda is number 3. So you're thinking, why would the team replace their AD carry for a lower ranked player? But when you're in the PGS, it really doesn't matter what rank you are. It's more of how you mesh well with the other 4 members on your team. So maybe Ardai has been meshing better in practices, who knows, but today we'll get to see.
Well, I did hear that during the online tournament for BRE, especially Buildover's Finest Journey, he has been playing majority of the games, but for Liar has been playing majority of PGS. So can they find the same success they had in the Buildover's Finest, summing in Ardai in this game? We'll see in our match 1 as we head on to the drafting phase. But for Infused esports, I have high expectations, especially for their shot calling and their execution, because when we saw in week 3 how they played against Naga, and Naga is this team with great preparation coming into the PGS, and for Infused to match that, isn't that something for the viewers to watch out for and be excited for this match 1?
Yeah, and speaking of preparations, makikita natin ngayon ano ang hinanda ng pareha sa team as we head on to the drafting phase for the first match.
So tingnan mo, Cheese, ano nangyari dito sa first batch? So Rise, Zoe, Alistar, patch 8.3, run us down.
Yeah, of course, in patch 8.3, they have been a few changes to meta champions, such as Rise. Di na gumagana yung mag-Zonias ka or mag-stopwatch ka tapos mag-ult away ka. That's a very naughty way to escape. Wala na yung interaction na yun. And as for Infused, banning out these engaged junglers, these very strong junglers in the current meta, so Joanny and Jarvan, have been nerfed as well. But it looks like there's no priority yet on them. And those nerfs on the meta junglers and them being banned as well, I think it means that there's leeway for these other junglers to possibly come into the meta. And Nunu from XDXB, we've seen this before from him, and they were able to pick up their win with this champion. So this is a good sign so far from BRE.
So Nunu will be the first jungler for their first game. So what is BRE trying to plan here? What's their strategy entering this game 1?
Well, of course, we know Nunu, you don't really gank much. You're more of a power farmer. You want to buff your team once the fights happen. You want to sort of zone them with absolute zero and just give your AD carry the blood ball and have Ardai just absolute pop off on the Xayah.
So for Infused, they'll be picking up the Gnar and the Kha'Zix. And now into the second phase, the Braum has been picked up. So kind of a support that you would expect to get when there is a Xayah, sort of a counter.
Okay, and with that Shen lock in for BRE, I do believe it will be Shanna playing that Shen support. So we get to see global pressure from the bot lane once he hits level 6. And speaking of global pressure, Talia locked in for Isaac here. And we all know what Talia does. She's going to hit level 6. She's going to use her Weaver's Wall and affect the side lanes. Let's just see how these teams plan to execute towards their win condition.
And for the silence to be effective, shouldn't Hechiso be the ones to also be proactive in helping those silence be secure, so that for Isaac, he can freely roam with that Talia?
Yeah, need to be in sync. Hechizo and Isaac need to work together to affect the silence, possibly get Gertrude ahead on this Gnar, possibly get Quang ahead on this Tristana. And if you're BRE, you definitely have to watch out for that. And right here we see double teleport on both BRE side laners. That means they'll be watching out for these roams.
And knowing that patch 8.3, the Unsealed Spellbook has finally been touched and nerfed from 25% to 15%. Will this be enough for, let's say, some teams to actually not pick it up anymore?
I think it's still fine because in competitive, Unsealed Spellbook means that you have more options. You can possibly get a teleport on your support, on your AD carry to go split push. But I think in PGS specifically, these teams would want to have those options, like swap out your Ignite for Exhaust in the team fights or just take Ignite for the lane pressure. Anything could happen really, but I don't think the nerfs on Unsealed Spellbook are enough to have it go out of meta.
I love the draft coming for Infuse, but it's all about execution on their side. But for BRE, again, picking up champions where the players are more comfortable with, especially Lando on this Camille. He loves to split push. That's his playstyle. Don't ever change that. Put him in a champion that he can excel, and now he'll be running this Camille in the top. Can BRE pressure the lanes more for him because they have to buy time for Lando?
They have to. They definitely have to buy time. And looking at both of these comps, you mentioned BRC, they want to split push. Their comp is built for split push. Whereas if you're Infused, they want to engage. They want to start fights and possibly catch out the other members of BRE while Lando is away split pushing. So very clear strategies being brought by both of these teams into the first game.
So for BRE, you're telling me that they're going for the split pushing strategy and then playing around Lando.
Yes.
For Infused, what is it?
Well, definitely you want to affect the side lanes. You have Talia, you want to get Quang ahead, you want to get the Tristana into a snowbally position where once Tristana gets ahead, your towers are just going to fall down left, right, and center. It's going to be very hard to defend, but BRE do have the tools to defend. They have Wave Clear and Corki. But one thing that BRE lacks is unless Lando is with their team, wala silang engage. Wala silang way na dumiretso na lang just start a fight with Infuse. So it's very dangerous for them to be in a 4v4 situation without top laner.
So everything is locked in. We'll be moving on to the game itself in a while. But again, whoever you're supporting in this game one, let it be BRE or Infuse, show your support. We are live on Facebook. We're live on youtube.com/Garena/live. Sorry about that. So again, we're live on stream itself. So show your support. And note that we are still running the promo, the Thrill of the Hunt. So you know these players, you know these teams, they go for the triple kills and whatnot. That's something that the viewers has to watch out for, and perhaps an exciting game for all of us to see that BRE and Infused have to step up.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised to see both the teams go all out kasi sobrang importante ng match to, especially for Barca XRH Esports. If they want to realistically make a playoff run, now is the time. They need to step up now. They need to put all their hard work to good use. They need to execute once they come on the Rift and just try and get a 2-0 over Infused.
It's not too late for Infused and BRE because, again, with the format change, it makes it more competitive. Just because you had a good 3 weeks or just because you had a good first week does not mean that you will be guaranteed moving on to the playoff stage. So, for BRE and Infused, I have high hopes that they can try and make a comeback in week 4. We only have 3 weeks left for the group stages, so why not go out with a bang?
Yeah, and 3 weeks is a lot of time if you think about it. I mean, marami silang pwedeng gawin in those 3 weeks. But if you want to start something, week 4 would definitely be the best time kasi we're already midway through the PGS. We get to see the team strengths. We get to gauge what they can do. And right now, these teams, man, they just really need to go all out.
And for Infused, they've been performing and executing properly. But for BRE, can this be the week where putting in order for the first time in the PGS, can that change BRE's, let's say, pace and their game style?
You know, I'm actually hoping that this is their week. I really wish that they're able to build momentum off this, possibly pick up another win, even if they don't win the match itself. I really want to see them build momentum and possibly work towards a playoff run because I always love an underdog story, Vulcan. I always love an underdog story.
I mean, don't we all love to see that underdog story where it's exciting, you get to root for your favorite team, and in the end, this is more of a pattern I see with the underdog story. You'll root for the underdogs, and as soon as the underdogs become, let's say the champions and keep winning, then you'll start to hate them because that's the fun part of the underdog. That's the fun part of the story.
Yeah, I mean, I'm one of those guys na, oh, it's them winning again. Like, I'm personally not an SKT fan, if you want to relate it to that. So I don't want to see the same guy winning over and over again. I know it's very competitive out there, but man, seeing the same team name over and over just winning, it just gets me bored, man. Honestly.
Okay, so we might see though in this 2018 PGS, will we see the same names moving on to the playoffs, moving on to the finals, semifinals?
I certainly hope not.
I think it will be different. That's the right way to say it. It's not going to be the same. It's going to be different because format change, single elimination
More
format,
More
teams
yeah.
too. And especially for the roster changes. Minaski, TNC, changing their roster, and for new teams like BRE and Infused going back in, same with Naga coming back into the PGS. It's a mix of new blood and old blood, and also veterans with rookies.
Yeah, and I think we're gonna head into the Rift pretty soon, so just wait and find out.
And this will be Game 1, BRE versus Infused. Let's load up to the Rift.
Ito na, tara na, panoorin natin ang Match 1 ng Game 1 nitong 4th week ng 2018 Bacchus Pro Gaming Series. It is BRE X Rage Esports on the blue side facing off against Infused Esports on the red side.
Wow, already on the fourth week of the PGS. Time sure flies, and I hope that the players are ready for change. Now we are running, again, the patch 8.3.
Yeah, parang bilis nga eh. Parang last week we were in 8.2 and then right now we're already on 8.3. Parang it's moving all so fast. Why can't we just calm down?
And maybe we can expect that, say, the patches can really change how the players will adapt, will play their drafts. And that's why it's interesting to see that in this new format, the top 6 will be moving on to the playoff stage. Malay mo, may bagong patch sa playoff stage. That's going to change everything. That's going to change the dynamics of top and mid. But we'll see right now for our first game of Match 1. How can BRE plan their victory, and how can Infused keep the momentum coming from week 3?
Yeah, and you mentioned patch 8.3, diba? We went back during pick and ban and we said Jarvan and Sejuani were kind of the meta junglers, but they did get nerfed. And we said that this might be the window for other junglers to come into the meta. And right now we see Nunu and Kha'Zix, some of the other A-tier junglers, I should say. So right now, let's wait and see what XDXP can do on this Nunu, because I really like Nunu, especially when you pair it with Corki. You get that added AP. And of course, Corki, as we all know, deals magic damage. Very mixed damage sources.
So that could be the one thing they're going for. That's going to be the mid game to late. But the question is, how can Infuse secure that early pressure with the Talia and possibly Hechiso? He could be roaming towards the to the bot side, get some vision in the red side.
Yeah, well, when you mention Talia, you always have to take note of the Weaver's Wall, Vulcan. We know the amount of impact that the Weaver's Wall can do in a side lane, especially if you don't keep track of where Isaac will roam. He can do some major damage to BRE.
And that's what you need to look out for BRE, especially the fact that they are running pushing comp, I should say. Or is it not that? That's the obvious. I mean, enlighten me. Why is this a pushing comp for BRE?
Because they have Lando in a top lane that can actually 1v1 the Gnar. If in a top lane matchup, generally whoever wins the 1v1 will have more pressure in the split push. But for BR, you need to get that Camille ahead. You can't rely on Lando to just win the 1v1 because it's very hard to do that as Camille versus a Gnar. It's very difficult, especially in a melee to range matchup, top lane. So BR, they have to influence that matchup. They need to help Lando get ahead and play to their win conditions.
But isn't that kind of hard? Because, you know, XXP is on a Nunu. Not really a ganking jungler.
Yeah, it is very difficult, but it is doable. If Gertrude doesn't watch himself
But
here...
Hechiso is right here. 3-man knock up there. 3-man gang and flash in. Wild of first blood coming from Infused.
Okay, wow, that was such a smart roam by Isaac. The level 3 roam on Italia. You wouldn't expect that. You'd expect her to wait for that level 6, but right there, very proactive. Moves up all the way to the top lane, and now they're shutting down BRE's sole win condition.
And that's Infused win condition.
Yeah. They need to shut down the split pusher from BRE, and right there, already first blood, moving on to the Kha'Zix. This will hedge a snowball, and like we mentioned, Nunu isn't a ganking jungler. It's going to be very hard for XDXP to get a gank in.
And he has been spotted by a ward, so it's very difficult for him to influence the bot lane for Infused. And note that the Keystones are now up. XDXP is running the Unsealed Spellbook.
Very interesting, actually. I mean, gaya nga na sinabi natin, merong nerfs sa spellbook. I think Guardian would have been a better option for a Nunu because you want to be more team-oriented. But let's see, having more options, will it help BRE in the long run? Because as the game progresses, you won't know what situations you'll be put in. And I think having spellbook will just help you have more options once you're put in a unique situation.
And that's the good thing. May first blood na onto Infused side. Hechiso got the first blood, got the 400 gold. Now, he can further influence the top lane, maybe further shut down BRE's win condition. And that's going to be common sense. Infuse's win condition. You make the opponent's only condition to win this game, shut it down completely, then you'll have an easier time.
Yeah, nakakatakot yun, lalo na first blood onto a Kha'Zix. Alam natin, Kha'Zix is a jungler, very snowbally. Once you get your Duskblade, you're gonna deal so much damage with your invisibility. If you time it, and Shannon's going for roam, playing down a bit of vision. They're fine though.
It's fine, it's fine. Maybe you were thinking that Hajiso was there waiting out.
Yeah,
So, you know,
that's a very scary thing.
right now he's actually level 4 and already picking up the first blood. Yes, that's a huge boost, especially for Kha'Zix.
Yeah, that definitely helps, especially with the new change, with the recent changes to Kha'Zix. He relies a bit more on items now compared to before. So getting first blood on the Kha'Zix is definitely a good thing. Antayin lang natin, ano pa kayang kaya nilang kunin? For BRE now, you need to find that way in. Just get that first kill.
And wouldn't you normally play a bit more passive because you gave up the first blood? You're a bit scared that Hajiso is getting a good start, especially on a Kha'Zix.
Yeah, honestly, I think
Oh, Lando is in trouble here. Has to get away. He's getting kited by Gertrude, and that's going to be Gertrude just zoning out Lando.
that's the effect of the first blood right there. Like, Lando's forced to go back and, oh, he's actually going to stay. This is very dangerous. There is a threat of a dive if he doesn't choose to recall. I see now he's channeling his recall, and without teleport, that means that huge minion wave that Gertrude was pushing in will be denied by the tower.
And he doesn't have teleport.
Yes.
That further
Exactly.
delays him.
And moving back to your previous point where BRE needs to play a bit more passively, I think they're forced to play passively because they don't have a ganking jungler. Nunu can't impact the lanes as effectively as a Kha'Zix. So they're forced into this situation now. Okay, let's just hug our towers. Let's just try and get farm. Because after that first blood, we really can't set anything up at the moment.
So you just have to wait things out, wait for the storm to settle, and wait for Lando to actually scale up on this Camille. Because early game Camille is kind of not that powerful. I would say level 6 is kind of nerfs in a previous patch
Especially
before.
now they're looking to set up another dive possibly.
And maybe a counter jungled here too.
XDXP is in base, so I don't think there is any challenge to his blue buff. I think Infused making a smart proactive invade will pick up the blue buff, but I do believe that would have been better if it went over to Isaac.
Maybe he wanted to get to level 6. You saw that he already upgraded his what? Stealth. And that could be Hajiso signaling maybe towards the top lane.
Yeah, that could also be the decision. I kind of agree with you, Vulcan. I mean, they still have their own blue buff off. Maybe that's the buff that Isaac will get.
Maybe Hajiso just wanted to reach level 6 as fast as he can and maybe go towards the bot or the mid because as far as I can see, top lane seems rather controlled for Infused side. That was actually a scary done there. I mean, leave it to the Shen Spirit's Refuge. It's a very, I would say, underrated skill. Very powerful when in a team fight.
Yeah, especially
Ooh,
all in.
Bayonnar throws it to the wall, it's stun locked in. Hajiso comes in for the help, and that's not gonna go anywhere. You can ult all you want, but Infused is pressuring the top lane.
Yeah, and that's a level 6. Gaya na sinabi mo, yung level 6 ni
Ooh,
Hechizo.
but what's this? BRE.
Okay. Now they can't catch Coin here.
They want to trade it out. They have vision here, but Isaac, May Weaver's Wilsha. They can go in for an assist here, but we'll see. Can Infuse commit to this? Fisher's there, knocks up the support.
They need to get out.
Absolute Zero will channel through, no damage yet. But BRE successfully secures the Infernal. Now, will they make it out alive? They're trying to chase down XP. One more stack for the stun, but no. They will show some restraint.
Okay, I see the mindset coming from BRE. Nakita natin si Hechizo sa top lane, so that means there will be no jungler to threaten us bot lane. But speaking of threats,
Invading now, flashing in. Stan United coming through. He gets the shield. He will survive. And again, Hajiso gets punished.
okay, right there, the level 6 very clutch from the Shen. But looking,
Saktong-sakto.
yes, saktong-sakto. But looking back, the point I was trying to make, they saw the Kha'Zix top side. And with the Nunu, of course, alam natin we can rush down this Infernal Drake. So immediately, all of the members of BRE make a decisive call. They were able to secure it. They did burn a few flashes. And they all got out alive. And they picked up a kill as well onto Hechizo. Overextending a bit there, not respecting the Stand United. He gets punished for it. And just great turnaround from BRE. But they need more.
Lando getting a bit angsty against the top lane here, but that's normal because it sucks. It sucks being camped twice. I mean, Lando, I think he was victimized in the game where Naga really camped him forever.
Well, I mean, it's perspective. If you get camped by the enemy team, you'd feel bad. But if you camped by your own jungler, like you mentioned during the
Feels
Naga games,
good.
it definitely feels good.
So I guess different sides of the story, different sides of the coin. But it just goes to show how much they respect Lando.
Yeah, because
That if you leave this guy alone, he's gonna wreck you.
yeah, I think Lando has a reputation of being a very strong laner. And some teams, they show respect to that. And they try to shut him down, like Infuse is trying to do. They've already ganked him twice. The CS difference is quite huge, around 25, I should say. He's fine, though.
He's still fine.
He's
It's
still
okay.
fine.
He can come back to this slowly. But now it's up to who else? For BRE side, the mid and the bot has to buy him time. They have a Zaya, they have a Corki. They can easily, pressure the other lanes. Maybe, distract Hedges. So, hey, just come here. Come here.
Tawagin mo sila.
Tawag mo sila. Wag si Lando. Leave him alone.
Yeah.
That's what
Wag yung tropa namin, pre. Kami na lang. Kami haharapin mo pag inaaway mo si Lando.
Maybe that's what they can do
Yeah,
right now in this game.
That's what they can do. And looking at Zaya Corki, they have a lot of wave clear. So they can definitely stall long enough. And if Hedges tries and go for an
Oh, no.
over-aggressive dive, oh no, Lando!
Tropa. He's trying to go in, trying to buy some time. Gets the shield from the adaptive shield and goes in with the ultimatum. Flashes away. What a play, but will he survive? No, sadly.
Yeah, kulang right there. Kulang yung defensive stats niya, and Gertrude is able to pick up a kill. But XDXP, hinahampas niya si Isaac.
There's the slow. Isaac will try to make it away. He does not get bursted down just yet. Hedges comes in with the Void Slow. There's the stealth, and Isaac picks up the kill. 1-for-1 kill right there, and now Infuse is pushing back Isaac.
Wow, Jaime actually chooses to Valkyrie away. I actually think he could have taken that fight versus Hedges, but he respects the damage and respects Gertrude coming in. So wisely enough, he does back off. But man, this game is just heating up. We're starting to see kills happen all over the map.
And especially for Isaac, he was trying his best to go back, but then still gets picked up by Jaime. So, what's at stake here? First turret, first blood onto Infuse side. Maybe BRE can make things work here, make some magic happen with, let's say, gets a small lead.
Yeah, and looking at leads, like you mentioned, 2 kills from BRE, both on the Corki, and Corki's mid game is very powerful. Once you complete your Trinity Force, which is very close, he's gonna deal a lot of damage to you, especially if you're Infused. It's very hard to itemize versus a Corki because he deals mixed damage. And having both the kills on the Corki is definitely a good thing for Barca X-Ray Esports.
So let's see, can Jaime buy some time for BRE? We'll see as the game progresses. But right now we are at our 12-minute mark. Kill score is 2-4. Gold lead, just 600, not that big of a difference. But note that the top lane has been shut down quite a bit. So for Lando, on BRE's side, he needs some time to catch up.
Yeah, feeling ko at this point of the game, yung gold lead na yan, it's just from Infused killing Lando twice. That's it. That's the gold lead. That's the entire lead Infused has. It's just in the top lane, whereas the other lanes are fairly even. Maybe Jaime is a bit ahead considering he does already have his Trinity Force completed and now a pickaxe as well. Ayaw mong ma-right-click ka ng Corki na yan. Masakit yan.
And for Lando, I think he will have an easier time clearing the waves. He does have the Tiamat. That's an item he can use just to further farm it up, wait things out. He has been oppressed for a while.
Yeah, he needs to stop getting poked down though. It's very hard for Camille to sustain herself in lane versus Anar specifically.
Kainis yung kaita.
Yeah.
He needs to land that tactical sweep at the range where he gets the heal, and Nar can just get out of it.
Yeah, and now Jaime, you need to be careful.
Oh,
Hedges is here.
so he sees it. There's a ward. There's a ward.
Ah,
Okay, they will just back things up, but great pressure coming from Hedges' side, and for Jaime to respect that Kha'Zix. Stuns connect. Jojo does have the ultimate, but again, maybe saving it up when Hedges comes in.
yeah, you just want to pressure Lando, and again, he's gonna toss a rock, but man, Lando's getting chunked over and over, but
Long ward. Dilim! Hedges is right there! Oh my goodness! That is pressure
okay.
in the top lane side.
Hindi ko napansin na nandun na pala si Hedges. Maski ako, paras tayo nagulat doon, and just like that, trying their...
And the first turret yan.
Yeah, definitely first turret, and man, Infused, their game plan seems to be try and shut down Lando, and so far it's worked out for them. They're really trying to get this Gnar ahead, because given that Gertrude is this far ahead of the matchup, it's gonna be very hard for Lando to 1v1 him in a split push situation. And now, Rift Herald being started by Infused.
And here comes-
XDXP is here though.
he wants to deny that Rift Herald because if they give this up, more pressure in the top lane, more time for, Infuse to secure the game because BRE, they want to buy time, and by getting the Rift Herald, it's going to be bad news. Here comes Shanna, gets the 2-man taunt, but will not commit because the ADC is very low. Stun will connect, but Quang is just, safely farming away the lanes, just getting the trades. There's the reset. But in the end, I think for Ardai and Shanna, they're pretty healthy. They can still sustain the lane.
Yeah, they definitely can, especially with a Relic Shield procs. You can heal up your AD carry. Dragon is up though, so I think Ardai needs to recall here if he wants resources. He does have the Essence Reaver if he wants to get his mana back.
So, more on lane sustain. That's for BRE to buy time. But
Jaime?
he wants to get the turret, and he has the package
Okay.
for the escape. He knows it.
I respect that. I respect the use of the package right there. I'm gonna just walk up to your turret, take it, and if you try and gank me, okay,
Oh,
I'll
God.
just fly away.
Lando has to get away. If ever that boomerang does connect to Lando, you're not gonna have a good time. The
Yeah.
passive from the cleaver, the phage, is just gonna ruin your day.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Gertrude build into a Frozen Mallet. It helps very much
Oh
in a
my
1v.
God, if it does,
It's very standard for Nars to possibly go Black Cleaver, Frozen Mallet, and then defensive item. But if you want to build aggressive, we've seen Blade of the Ruin King. We've seen Phantom Dancer somewhere.
that's for duelist type. So will Gertrude go for the duelist type? Here it has a ruby crystal. So
I mean, he's snowballing really hard, and with Hechizo camping his lane, I really think he could possibly build towards. But I think Frozen Mallet first.
okay, we're talking about Snowball here, but now let's look on to Hechizo because he's the one who's snowballing right now. Is he getting a Black Cleaver? Yes, but is that the wisest choice? I mean, why not go for the more, disgusting item, the Dusk Blade?
I think he wants Black Cleaver because of the tanky stats. Dustblade will leave
He'll
you
be the one
very...
to diving in though, so
Yeah.
possibly he wants to get the tank stack. XDXP will come in
TP.
with Jaime, but there is a 2-man Meganar for the stun, and immediately Isaac comes in with the Weaver's Wall to disengage the fight. Lando and the members of BRE, they're scrambled around, but they know that they have to respect the lead that Infused has, so they just back off in the top lane.
Okay, that's very smart for Infuse to back off because Hechizo was busy doing the Cloud Drake, so that means there would have been no...
Oh, ito na. Here comes 2v1, make it 2v2. Hechizo is here. There's no more taunt, but again, on their turret, that's a Zaya. There is that ultimate for the frame, the involved frame.
Yeah, and the Spirit's Refuge, it shuts down auto-attack-based champions, and with Quang not being able to deal enough damage there, I don't think Hechizo would have been happy to go for that dive, especially with so many options for safety coming from BRE's bot lane.
Speaking of the bot lane, look at the CS. Wow,
They're even.
even. So what does this mean? What does this mean for BRE?
It means that they have even CS with
Oh,
enemy
come on.
AD
I
carry.
mean, in the late game sense, do they have a chance?
They definitely do have a fair chance here, but we still have to see how much time Lando can buy.
I'm really wondering why, at this point in the 4th week, that BRE is now subbing in Ardai. The player they used in the Piltover's Finest journey, now making his debut here in the PGS. So for a small fight in the blue side for the buff, but denying that to Jaime, is that something they want?
Yeah, that's definitely something that Infuse wants. Pero going back to your point where si Ardai ngayon naglaro ng Piltover's Finest, there's a lot of behind-the-scenes things na hindi natin alam for sure nangyayari sa teams. But if I would take a guess, Vulcan, feeling ko during practices, they just felt that Ardai was performing better in sync. Gaya na sinabi natin, you need to be in sync with your team. And maybe they want to start picking up wins. They need to change something because if you're going to approach something with the same equation over and over, you're not going to be able to solve it. You need a bit of change, and maybe Ardai is the change that BRE needs.
Or may Código?
Or may Código. Is that how you roll?
That's how I do it.
Ah, man. That's bad. That's bad.
It's being resourceful.
It's bad.
It's resourceful. So
It depends on how you look at it, but man, cheating is bad.
it's only cheating if you get caught. And for BRE, right now, what they need to do is, let's say, be more resourceful. They have what it takes to try and win this game. They have Ardai in the bot lane, right? Even CS.
Not
no-
anymore. Okay, now.
Ano ba yan? It's not that big of a difference. What I'm trying to say, J-Sto, what I'm trying to say is, okay, right now, the bot lane looks rather even, yes. So all the lanes, let's say the top lane is heavily in favor of Infuse. That's only one lane. But is Jaime doing bad in the mid lane? No. especially for the bot lane, are they doing bad? No. So only the lane that suffered was the top lane. So BRE, they still have a solid chance.
Well, we haven't seen a full-on 5v5. Hindi pa natin nakita na 5v5 diretsahan sila na maglaban. Pero in a 5v5, a Gnar that's ahead might be more impactful than a Camille that's behind. Especially with Mega Gnar.
And he's going for the Frozen Mallet.
Yeah, gaya nga na sinabi natin. And look at this. Pag na-click niya si Lando dito, Lando will just have to run away.
Mai siya. Oh, yun, mai. Tapos yun, answer yung slow. But then yung slow. And the Cleaver is stacking up for the armor shred.
Look at that trade.
Die.
Yeah, Gertrude doesn't take damage, whereas Lando gets chunked for a bit. He's just content though, just trying to clear these minions over and over with his Tiamat, just get those auto resets in. But there's Weaver's Wall in the bot lane.
Just to cut them off. But I don't think Infused will commit to a full-on fight. So BRE will just back off, respecting that Weaver's Wall. Will just give away their outer bot lane turret.
Yeah, I think this is the point in the mid game where now Infused will play the macro very well because they have a Tristana with Static Shiv, with Infinity Edge. We know now we can siege with this Tristana. We can use her pushing power, but XDXP is flanked around.
Going for the flank, focusing everything onto Quang. He does have the rocket jump, and there's the fissure for the deny. But for Arde, he has the ultimate. He dodges that deny, but in the end for BRE, they will be responding and they will win the trade.
Okay, great wombo combo. Small wombo combo from BRE, but they did pick up 2 kills. Anong objective ang kaya nilang kunin dito? Because they need to translate kills into objectives if they want to shut down Infuse.
They can just go for the turret. The Cloud Drake is not yet gonna be alive. It's still mahaba pa yung timer.
Are they gonna dive Lando?
Can
Lando, you need to be careful.
That's 3 members.
Oh no, Lando.
Okay, he's gonna get dove, and he dodges the stun, but now they're just dancing around that turret. X the ultimate, and will the lockdown end? The save from Shauna's, will the stand united? But instead, Lando will still die, but for Jotaro will be kiting Shauna, trying to take him down, jumps into X the XP, but it's going to be a trade-off for both teams here, equal trade, but now Infused are backing away from the turret.
Okay, so it's actually a 2-for-1 in favor of Infused. They were able to pick off Shanna after trying to buy time for Lando. Unfortunately, the stand united shield wasn't enough now. Jaime, can you get back in time to defend this tower? I think he will.
He has to defend because at this point, what Infuse is doing, they did all they can in the top lane. They tried their best in the bot lane, and now they realized, wait, we have to secure this game. We have a good lead. Let's wrap it up because when the late game does happen, of course, they have the Braum. They can shield, they can deny the feather stacks coming from Ardai. But will that be enough? We saw how the trade went in the bot lane.
Yeah, I think kung kayong Infused, one of the largest things na natatakot sila pagdating yung late game is pag umabot yung point na lahat na sila even items, the lead they had over Lando will be irrelevant. Wala na silang pakialam dun once the late game comes. So you don't want to let Lando get his gold, get his item, experience as well on this Camille. You want to accelerate the game as fast as you can. Try and win while you still have a lead.
And you saw what happened in the bot lane die, right? May stand united si Shanna. That itself is a pressure that Infuse has to respect.
Yes.
And if things go really bad and they dive Lando again and they're stand united, you have to be prepared. If ever, you know, Infuse's dive goes south, they need to be ready.
Okay, and it will be BRE securing their second Drake of the game. It's a Cloud Drake. But Quang is pushing in the top lane and he's getting a lot of chip damage on these towers, but he needs to be very careful. Here comes Jaime.
Oh boy.
Oh no, Quang.
Quang has to pick it out, but he has his teammates to back him up here.
Yeah, he has friends.
His friends.
Okay, so tinitingnan natin yung ginagawa ng Infuse dito. They're just letting Quang push these side lanes and being in a position to help him if BRE tries to collapse. BRE, meron nga silang wave clear. Pero kung hindi mo itapat yung wave clear na yun kay Quang, he's just gonna take down your towers. And now, Infuse can't possibly go for an engage. I wonder, no?
Look at Isaac, he's right here. They're just securing vision in the Baron Pit.
Yeah, and I think that's very important for Infuse, especially considering BRE, they're in a defensive position. But XDXP, he's caught out here.
Gets shoved back into Isaac. The zero will not save him. Quang picks up the kill. There's the Fissure to the knock-up onto Jaime. He does back off, but leaving behind Shana. They won't die just yet. Wait, this
There's
could
no
potentially signal the
Okay, it can be Baron, but they need to respect the poke coming from a fed Corki. It's already a 3-item Corki.
Teleport.
They need to respect this. What can BRE do?
Shana trying to make his way in. Gertrude's here.
Oh my god, look
But
at
he's not in the Mega Nars zone, and that's going to be Ardai picking up Gertrude. And now the engage from Lando locks down Hechi, so he's not going anywhere. Double kill for Ardai, and then Jaime picks up Hechiso and a triple kill.
You need to respect the damage coming from a fed Corki, and even though it's a 4v5, kahit wala yung Nunu, you need to respect the rest of the members. And BRE understanding what their comp can do, they pick off a Baron as a reward for winning that little skirmish, and Infused, questionable choice to go for the Baron, not respecting the damage coming from Jaime.
And there's the promo code for the thrill of the hunt. But going back to that Baron pit fight, what happened for Infused? Was it the Zaya of Ardai that changed everything? Or was the engage and the fact that, as you said, she's still not respecting?
Not respecting the damage, but poke. It's very easy as a Corki to aim all your skill shots in that very cramped up area, the Baron pit. And if your focus is divided, like, can we go for this Baron? Do we turn for the team fight? It can be very difficult to communicate, but look at the amount of damage that Jaime does to Queng. There was one auto attack, it chunks him to half. And Ardai does the right thing here. This is all cleanup from him. This is mostly Jaime chunking the members of Infused, and Ardai just knowing how to clean up on this side. Just well-executed play to reward them with a Baron by BRE X-Rage Esports.
And for Lando to time that ultimate to lock down Hechiso for that Kha'Zix, he's not going anywhere. And that's going to be 4 members wiped out in the Baron pit.
Yeah, bawing-bawi si Lando dun. Bawing-bawi siya, like, camp mo lane ko, ultian lang kita team fight, fed yung mga kasama ko, sila nauubos sa'yo. That's definitely what was on Lando's mind. I mean, if you're a top laner, you get camp, you want to take revenge on the enemy jungler. And Baron and 4 kills, best revenge.
And it's the fact that for Infused, they know that once they shot down Lando, they have the upper hand in the early game. That's true. Yes, it's very true for Infused. They know that they're smart for them to do that. But now, is it the same scenario? Is it the same story moving on to the mid to late game?
It's definitely not the same story. I mean, shutdown nga si Lando. Tignan mo si Jaime, 5-0-2 on the score. And now, nag-aabang na lang yung BRE sa jungle ng Infused. Pag may pumasok na member ng Infused dyan, basically, they're gonna die.
And now, let's see. Maybe Lando may go for a revenge here. He can probably 1v1 the Gnar. Goes in. There's the stack. And misses the taunt. That's not going to be the stun landing in. Calls in help. Here comes the backup. I can't do it alone. Come on, help me out. 2v1. 2v1. Can he get the kill? No. Isaac will be helping out his team.
Yeah, very unfair right there for BRE's top laner. But I think it did buy time. There's no more Weavers Wall. No Talia to act as the wave clear for Infused. I think BRE were able to take down the tier 2 top lane tower. What more can they take? They still have the Baron buff, I think. They need to get more. They definitely need to try and make use of these objectives. And now, I think mid lane is the priority for them.
From that clash that happened with Lando, he tried his best to redeem himself, trying to get the revenge onto Gertrude. It was so close. He was almost there. But again, Isaac, Infused, still respecting Lando, even though they shot him down so early, they're still on his tail. They're still looking out at, they're just watching him. They're still, if he's there, we're gonna invest 2 members because that's how much we respect Lando.
And alam mo kung nagawa ni Lando yung 2v1 na yun? Parang nagaya niya si Gertrude during the previous week. Just the same 2v1 in the same area as well. But too many members, unfortunately, hindi pa, konti na lang. Sobrang mahihirapan na. And di ba we mentioned Gnar items? Tignan mo yung items ni Gertrude. I'm looking at the Zeal.
Ooh,
Phantom Dancer.
Phantom Dancer.
Di ba?
Damage reduction and extra kite. So,
In a 1v1.
In a 1v1, yes. So, maybe now Infused can only invest Gertrude to try and control Lando's split push. And now, can Isaac join the rest and clear out the waves? Because at this point, I think, yes, the Baron buff was in fact, BRE tried to make use of it. They've, in the end, the summary of the third score is even. Nope, it's not. 5-2. That's a lot. And the gold lead itself, what is it, 54,000, 55. And yeah, that is almost a 5k gold lead.
Yeah, and BRE right now, they have a very fed Corki, a very fed Sai. It's very difficult to engage onto both of these champions. Of course, Jaime having the Valkyrie to get away, and
Mountain Drake.
Mountain Drake as well, just to help the siege coming from BRE. This is very painful for Infused, and
Late game is, I think it's
Yeah.
happening for BRE side.
yeah, gaya nga na sinabi natin, the longer the game goes, the less the lead they have over Lando will be relevant.
And what happens to, the Lunu and die?
Yeah, basically late game Nunu is you just blood boil your allies.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that when the Baron buff is alive, the Elder Drake is there.
Oh yeah, you basically not make
Done
it a
deal.
50-50.
Yeah, it's now more on 60-40. But also look at BRE. They have 3 stacks. Mountain, Cloud, and Infernal. Yes. Oh boy. Mountain and Infernal on the same side. So I guess if that was on Infused side, they would have loved it. But BRE, they just want to, tease Infused.
Yeah, pero hindi pwede maging kampante yung BRE dito. They can't get overconfident and possibly go for an aggressive dive because Infused can still punish them. They still have a Tristana which scales very well into the late game. And if Infused are able to find a proper engage, use the Braum, use the Meganar with a flank, that might be their window to stop all the pushing power coming from BRE.
Oh, Jaime. Sakit nun. The crit damage coming from the Static Shift and Infinity Edge plus the Sheen proc is gonna be it's going to one-shot. Possibly, let's say, Isaac or Quang. So they have to be careful. But what I'm looking at right now is the items of the bot lane. 3 items locked in for Quang. We see the same pattern. Okay, no. But
Not anymore.
Not anymore. But for Ardai, he has 4 items.
Yeah, and that's massive.
And that's a lot of crit.
That's a lot of crit. And alam natin, Zaya, she loves crit damage. And now, Baron spawning in the next minute. We're gonna see a fight there because if Infused gives up the next Baron, I think that might be the final nail in the coffin for game 1. I think if they don't secure it, it will allow BRE to siege all of these lanes and just give them what they need in order to finish off game 1.
This is a tense moment for Infused. And for BRE, this is the moment they've been waiting for. I mean, tough records, tough standing, 8th rank. If they win this game and carry that momentum to the second game, they're gonna have a good time.
You know, actually, the lower part of the standings of the PGS, it's still very close. If BRE picks up a 2-0 here, they're immediately in the middle of the pack. That's how close it is.
But for Infused, if they get a 2-0,
yeah,
yeah.
it means it secures their spot in the middle of the pack, basically. And right now, though, Baron, gaya na sinabi natin, hindi to 50-50 kasi merong Nunu. But, yeah, steals won't happen. It's Nunu.
They're just respecting it because at this point, if they try and contest, they can possibly lose the game.
Yeah, but hindi nga sila pwede maging kampante. Kailangan nilang gawing methodical tong push na to. They need to be very careful. Not make any mistakes now because this is the crucial point. You need to close out. That's the most important thing. Kailangan tapusin nila yung game. And now, they have the Baron buff. They have all the tools. It's just, paano natin gagamitin yung tools na meron tayo para tapusin yung game?
I'm pretty impressed how BRE is playing this because when it came to the early game for onto the top lane side, it wasn't that favorable for Lando. But for him, he's a pro player. Come on. He is mature enough to try and make that comeback. That is what I love about BRE because they have these players, especially Lando, who had exposure in the PGS, a veteran from TNC now into BRE. He has that mentality that, okay, I'm in a bad lead, but I can trust my teammates.
Yeah, and
Cover up for me.
look at the 1-3-1 pressure from BRE here. If Infuse tries to engage in a different lane, either Lando or Jaime can just teleport and it's immediately a 5v5. But if you try and go for Jaime or Lando, you have Stand United. All of the members of BRE will collapse onto that side lane. So BRE, they're executing this 1-3-1 very, very well.
Okay, what's this? I can see the Infused. They're going for the engage here.
Oh, no.
Weaver's wall. They're being picked up here. That's the 0 to buy them time. Here comes the Stand United. Infused getting chunked slowly, but that's going to be
Look at
Quang.
Ardai.
Shutting him down. Jerton backs away. Same with Hachiso.
Ardai
He's
standing
ignited. He is low, but what's happening? And the Nexus BRE with the backdoor.
What an insane ending to that game. And Infuse, they tried to go for broke. They tried to go for that engage, but man, BRE's AD carry in top laner just... We don't care about a fight! We're gonna go end the game! And just like that, it will be BRE X-Rage Esports picking up the Game 1 win.
The heck was that?
I don't know, man. It's just... they were tired. They wanted to move on to Game 2.
That is what... Okay. What happened there? Infuse wanted to go to the bot lane side to clash, but Lando had other plans.
Yeah, definitely.
You can't me? That's the punishment that he's sending a message to Infuse, but for Infuse, they played it methodically smart. They knew who to shut down. They respected Lando, but in the end, it is very hard to control a late scaling Camille.
Yeah, and I think too much tunnel vision onto Lando. They kind of left Jaime on an island, they left Ardai on an island to farm, scale up, and Corki and Zaya deal a lot of damage once you go to the late game. And since Lando was able to absorb all that pressure coming from Infuse, I think it really helped BRE get a Game 1 win here, and just the decisiveness in the final moments. Just screw the fight. We're gonna go end the game, and man, decisiveness just wins you games, man.
So I guess we'll be moving on to the second game of our match 1. Again, what a performance that was from Lando of the BRE side. Same with the support for going into the Nexus, just shutting down that game.
Yeah.
And now, what can Infuse do?
They can look at the other lanes possibly.
Maybe don't get too tunnel vision.
Yeah, don't just, uy, si Lando, pwede natin sa income. Just, you might want to look at Jaime because look at the damage the Corki was doing.
You want to look at Ardai this time in this, his first debut
Yeah.
in PGS.
You want to spread out a bit, just not focus all because, man, Lando just played through that pressure brilliantly.
So we'll be having a short break here. We have been the Shotcasters. My name is Vulcan. With me is Chisto. See you after the short break for the continuation of BRE versus Infused Esports in the Game 2. Focusing everything on the Quang. He does have the rocket jump, and there's the fissure for the deny. But for Arde, he has the ultimate. He dodges that deny, but in the end for BRE, they will be responding.
Okay,
He's gonna get dove, and he dodges the stun, but now they're just dancing around that turret. Takes the ultimate and will the lockdown end. The save from Shaunas will the stand united, but instead Lando will still die. But for Johto will be kiting Shana, trying to take him down, jumps into XDXD, but it's going to be a trade-off for both teams here, equal trade. But now Infused are
We need to
backing
respect
away.
it. What can BRE do?
Shana trying to make his way in. Johto's here,
Oh my god, look
but
at
he's not in the Mega Nar zone, and that's going to be Ardai picking up Johto. And now the engage from Lando locks down Hechi, so he's not going anywhere. Double kill for Ardai, and then Jaime picks up Hechi, and the triple kill.
You need to respect the damage coming from a fed Corki, and even though it's a 4v1, kahit wala yung
I can see
you
the
need to-
Infused. They're going for the engage here.
Oh,
Widow
no.
Weaver's wall. They're being picked up here. That's a 0 to buy them time. Here comes the Stand Unite. Infused getting chunked slowly, but that's going to be
Look at
Quang.
Ardai.
Shutting him down. Jurgen backs away. Save with Hachi, so he's
Ardai's heading to
ignited.
him.
He is low, but what's happening? And the Nexus BRE with the backdoor.
What an insane ending to that game, and Infused, they tried to go for broke. They tried to go for that engage, but man, BRE